If you find yourself with a camera in your hand and want to learn how to use it, please subscribe to this channel, like the videos, comment below. Hi Photos photographers. Today we are talking in our part 2 about breaking down emotion. We need to understand about what emotion is, how it's communicated, and how it's conveyed so that we have a better understanding of how to build that up in our photographs so that we can properly communicate, convey an emotion, and drive that, call it a visceral response in our viewers. Today we are talking about what that feeling is all about, because a feeling is something that we connect as an emotion, but really and truly that emotion is part of what's going to drive the person viewing your photograph to buy something that you're using that image as a product, to buy, say you do food photography. Driving the emotion of the viewer is something that's going to cause your photograph to drive customers to that restaurant, someone who serves food, or to go buy that product, whether it's shoes or hat or cologne, perfume. It really doesn't matter. It's all about driving that emotional response that says, I want, I like, I'm hungry, which isn't really an emotion, but it's connecting the emotional response in someone's mind to something physical. So these next points we are talking about, connecting to our previous points, that video is not got some advantage over photography. Videography has never had an advantage over photography. I want to make a point here because even though cinematography, which is the creating of or the study of the expression of something because of emotion, not emotion, emotion, because of multiple exposed frames that in quick succession make it look like the object on the screen is moving or the person on the screen is moving. In reality, the person when each of those stills were taken was moving, but our eye and brain puts together all the broken pieces so that it looks seamless more so, but there are things of stop motion that you can create that look and feel. The important aspect to realize and understand is that the audio cues, which are Foley, we talked about that in a previous episode and we'll explain a little bit more about Foley here. The music, the text added, all of those are there because wherever you are in the video may not be an iconic scene. If you're somewhere in France, but you're not looking toward the Eiffel Tower in Paris, you might not know what that countryside looks like. And in reality, not every video or movie is actually made in country. They make it in such a way that they can add that scenery in the background, or they film it in a place that looks like somewhere important or notable. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes they have to give you a textual clue to know where you are. Sometimes they have to add in audio in the background because what was recorded and sounded right isn't right. It's not what everybody would go, oh, that sounds like. So all of these things is point number 1 for this video is cinema drama has a whole bunch of stimuli that we don't use in film photography. And going back to point 1 of the previous video, part 1 of this, breaking down emotion, it doesn't mean that film has an advantage over photography of movie film. It doesn't have an advantage over still film. So the importance of this is we use that driving the visceral emotional response through other things. And we're going to break down some of what those things are today. But point number 2 for today is we need to figure out what the essence of emotion is. Is it only facial expression? I'm going to say no. I believe it's much more because the facial expression gives us a major narrowing down of what we expect. Okay, so it goes from everything to, oh, I want more clues. Does that make sense? A lot like when I teach, I'm very overt, and I want to say, I guess, more in person because I can see the person's face when I teach in person. That when I get like this, the response is, whoa, calm down, dude. Don't get angry. Number one, you heard some things that were audio cues, but you saw my face and you went, he's angry. His jaw was tight. His teeth were together. His brow was furrowed. And the look in my eye was, if he wasn't on the other side of my computer screen, wherever I don't know he is, I would be running for my life. So there's a facial expression involved in emotion. There is an eye communication. You've heard the phrase that the eye is the window to the soul. And oftentimes that's where we in our current day culture, we talk about emotions coming from the soul. So the eyes tell you a lot in emotion. The tone of voice tells you a lot. But again, in photos, we don't use audio. We only use visual. So if you're shooting something that requires your model or whoever you're doing a photograph of in a portrait shoot, this is important for portraiture, street photography, sports. I mean, you don't have to, sports-wise, you don't have to give them a character because they're already in character. Those sports players they're competitive. They've got that focus. Nothing else matters. The batter in the batter's box, when the pitcher's throwing that ball, he's locked in. The only people that matter to him is the pitcher, him, and the object flying at him, which is the ball. Okay, so, I mean, there's a lot of training goes into all this. All that together tells us facial expression is very important. Focus is important. How do we create that focus in our photograph so that there's no confusion or mistaking what's going on? Thank you so much for watching. We look forward to seeing your thumbs up and the comments down below of how this content has helped you grow in your photography or helped you figure out, I need to think about this and break it down so I can understand it and put it in my photography. If you're not yet a subscriber to the channel, we would love to have you join us, become part of the Photos Photography family. Thank you so much. God bless.